So, taking your business global. That's the dream, isn't it? But let's be honest, breaking into brand new, complex markets can feel like you're just trying to find your way in a thick fog. You just know the opportunities are out there somewhere, but how do you actually find them without, burning through a ton of cash? Well, let's dive into a strategy that's built to do exactly that. I want you to think about your current outreach for a second. Does it kind of feel like you're just firing off messages into the void, like flares in the fog? You're just hoping someone somewhere happens to see one and maybe, just maybe, responds? It's such a common problem, and it means spending a lot of time and resources on outreach that feels random and, frankly, just doesn't deliver. But what if you could swap out those rando flares for something more like a precision radar system? Yeah, that's the whole idea behind an intelligence-first approach. And listen, this isn't just some nice theory. This exact strategy has been battle-tested and used to successfully launch and scale operations in 3 of the toughest, most competitive markets in the world: the US, the Netherlands, and Germany. All right, so before we get to the solution, let's really nail down the problem we're trying to solve here. We're calling this section Firing Flares in Fog because, honestly, it perfectly captures that feeling of inefficiency that so many companies face when they try to expand. And when you put the two approaches side by side, the difference is just stark. On one side, you've got your traditional cold outreach. It's random, the messaging is super generic, dear sir or madam, and the return on your investment is usually pretty disappointing. But on the other side, you have an intelligence-first go-to-market. It's systematic, it's precise, and here's the kicker. It focuses on solving pain points that you've already validated. No more guessing. Okay, so how do you actually make that shift from one to the other? Well, the solution is a really structured 2-phase method. It's all about moving from just broadcasting your message to actually listening, and then, and only then, acting with absolute precision. Let's break down how it works. The whole thing really boils down to these 2 critical phases. First, phase 1, you detect market signals. This is where you build your radar system. Then, phase 2, you execute targeted outreach based on all that juicy intelligence. That's your precision strike. Simple in concept, right? But incredibly powerful. Let's see how it actually works. So let's really get into the nitty-gritty, starting with phase 1, building your radar. The whole goal here is to stop shouting into the void and start systematically, methodically listening for real-time opportunities as they pop up. Now, the engine that powers this radar is something we call market research prompt triggers. I know it sounds a little technical, but it's actually pretty straightforward. It's just a fancy name for a system you set up to actively scan the market for specific events, things like a big merger, a new executive hire, or a new regulation, that basically scream, hey, this company has a problem right now that you can solve. And just to show you this is a real practical tool, take a look at this. This isn't a mock-up. This is an actual prompt that was used to find and classify these market signals. It gets super specific: company size, industry, the exact triggers to look for. It's what turned the fuzzy idea of market research into a concrete, repeatable task your team can do every single day. Okay, and this part is absolutely crucial. Not all signals are created equal. You can't chase everything, so this strategy sorts them into 3 simple priority levels. Priority A signals are your high-stakes critical needs. Think a merger, a new CIO, or a huge regulatory fine. B signals are more strategic, like key IT job postings. And C signals are your general growth indicators. This is a game changer because it lets your team focus all their energy where it's going to have the biggest impact. All right, so you've built the radar, you're detecting signals. Now for the fun part, the precision strike. Let's take a look at how all this intelligence was used to craft hyper-specific outreach in those 3 key markets we talked about. First up, the Netherlands. The game plan here was really smart and had 2 parts. First, target major companies in critical industries, and second, build really strong partnerships within the local Microsoft ecosystem to scale up fast. And you can immediately see the results of this super targeted approach. Instead of some generic sales pitch, the intelligence led to incredibly specific proposals. For New Ways Electronics, it was a supply chain pilot to help them manage their global expansion. For the Port of Rotterdam, it was all about securing critical infrastructure. And for Tony's Chocolonely, a traceability tool to support their ethical mission. See? Each proposal solved a real, validated, and timely problem. Okay, let's hop over to Germany. This is a totally different market, with its own unique challenges. Here, the focus was on the famous Mittelstand. These amazing mid-sized companies that are often running on complex SAP systems and are facing this mountain of new digital and cybersecurity regulations like DORA and NIS2. So naturally, the precision strike in Germany looked completely different. It was all about being the bridge between the worlds of SAP and Microsoft. It meant co-developing connectors, providing the technical muscle to actually execute on these complex compliance rules, and even offering certified specialists to partners who are struggling with a skills shortage. Again, hyper-relevant and incredibly valuable. And finally, let's head over to the United States. You know the deal here. The game is all about speed, it's about scale, and it's about dominating specific industry verticals, where regulations and operational problems were creating these massive pain points, just waiting to be solved. And just look at how versatile this approach is. In the US, those intelligence triggers led to creating these pre-packaged solutions for different sectors: risk reporting for banks going through a merger, efficiency dashboards for manufacturers, HIPAA compliance apps for healthcare providers, student retention tools for universities. Every single one was a quick, targeted win that addressed a very specific vertical's needs. So, as we start to wrap this up, let's just bring it all back home. The whole journey is about moving from being totally lost in the fog to having this crystal clear focus. And it's all possible because of the power of a precision-guided strategy. I really wanted to end with this quote from the source material because it just perfectly captures the entire idea we've been talking about. It's not about shouting louder than everyone else, it's about seeing clearer. It's about detecting the real urgent signals out there and responding with exactly what's needed at exactly the right time. And that leaves us with one final big question. I want you to take a hard look at your own outreach efforts. Ask yourself, honestly, right now, is your strategy a flare just hoping to be seen, or is it a radar guiding you with precision right to your target?